We're Just Two Moms. We're expert contributors at FamilyAffaires.com. I'm Christy.
And I'm Debbie.
And today we're going to talk to you about Plan B. Because if there's a Plan A and you have an autistic kid, you have to have a Plan B, C, D, E, and F. Because things do not go as expected. You have to expect the unexpected.
Right. Well, you know, life is unexpected.
Absolutely.
And because of that, we've always dealt really well with using Plan B and C and D and go beyond from that. I can remember when my son was really little and they started making these really cute plates. They'd come, I think, 8 or 12 in a pack, animal plates. Tiger.
Yeah, they still make them, Debbie.
I believe they did. And they had, the ears had 2 different compartments, and then the face had a compartment for the larger part of whatever food.
Right.
Well, my son had a difficult time, and I learned this early on. This was before we were diagnosed. Okay, so that's where we're coming from. It's when I realized something was going on, but I didn't know what to do with it. I realized that he had a difficult time if we would eat lunch not in a place other than home. So if we would go to my mother's house,
Right.
or if we go for a play date somewhere, and if I would bring my packed lunch, there was always a plate you had to put your food on. Well, after a while, I realized that if I would serve him breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner on the same plate, he would get used to that. Fork, knife, spoon, all was on the same. You go somewhere else, it's not on the same.
Right.
So I started picking up plastic forks and silverware in all different colors, and then my usual metal stuff from my kitchen.
Right.
And then when we went to my mother's house, she had a different kind of plate, and or even paper plates. I would constantly use 4 different kinds of plates in a given day to try to make sure that he knew that there was going to be change.
Right.
It wasn't every day,
Right.
but it was every once in a while, and I'd make it really special, and I'd let him know that, we're going to have a fun plate right now, and we're going to do this, and I'd let him know what kind of grapes would go in the compartment, or whatever, a cheese, or what. My whole point was, I recognized that he really needed to have things more change-ups, and if I didn't do that, I was really concerned with what would happen if he didn't have that happen, because his reaction to things not being the same was he would throw the food across the table, no matter where we were. And that was something that I had to work really hard with to make sure that those behaviors were, at least to a certain extent, in my house and not somebody else's house or somebody else. I would be explaining things, and I have no problem explaining those things. But it really helped him along the way. The other thing when it comes to Plan B for us, again, my son liked to listen to classical music very early. And when I would put music on, and I'd put a CD on, he would get to know song 1 through 13.
Right.
Okay. Well, song 1 through 13, if you hit that random button, that would make him throw the Play-Doh across the room, and he would get really upset and throw himself on the ground, and he would have a crying attack and a really bad temper tantrum. And I decided, okay, there were certain days that I was going to hit the random button, and it was now my turn. We're going to listen to it this way and be surprised, because that's what happens if you start with song 3 and then go to song 6 and then song 9 and then song 1.
Right.
Those will be surprises. He wouldn't know it in that order. And random is different every single time.
Oh, yeah, it's random.
It's random.
Right.
So I always let him know when I was going to do that, so that he would know what was going to change, so that he would hopefully get used to things eventually where life makes its own changes.
Absolutely.
And we still deal with things that are difficult for him. I mean, you can't predict what tomorrow is going to bring.
Right.
And I'm always letting him know, if I can predict something might not be the way he's going to see it, I'll let him know this might happen. You know? And he's 18 at this point, so we're always concerned with, you never know what's going to happen.
Right. Even this morning I said to my son it could rain, so I had to put a raincoat in his backpack. He insisted, even though it wasn't raining then, and he's really only outside to get on and off the bus. But it's that it might rain really helps kids a lot, because especially if it's the summertime and there's going to be a thunderstorm and you're planning going to the pool and then you can't go to the pool, that whole transition piece is really, really hard.
The weather can be a really tricky thing for our kids.
Yeah, absolutely. So our tip for today is really try to change it up as much as you can. That really helps our kids. It might be hard in the beginning, but that's going to benefit them in the long run. All right.
Thanks.
Thanks.